Greetings and salutations, I'm your quirky artist Heini Mika. So you read the title, so this is a Daisy Buchanan inspired makeup look for 2021. For those of you, in case you don't know, so Daisy Buchanan is a character in the F. Scott Fitzgerald novel called The Great Gatsby. And this look is semi-inspired by the Baz Luhrmann 2013 movie The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio and Carey Mulligan. And in case you can't see, I'm dressed as Daisy today because Vincent and I, we were supposed to go to this party here in New York City, the Great Gatsby party, and it's supposed to be like a big spectacle. So they start from here and then they go to Miami, Las Vegas, Los Angeles. However, it was cancelled. So it was moved to next year. It's kind of fitting because the Great Gatsby movie takes place in summer 1922. So now that the Gatsby party is next year, 2022. So in my mind, I'm like, that's kind of fitting actually. So that's very fitting. So yeah, I decided to go there kind of like dressed as Daisy, kinda like Daisy inspired. The hair is tad too dark, like I got the hair from Amazon, and on the picture obviously it looked much lighter. And this is like, the camera is not picking it up very well, but it's more like a dark blonde, like dark honey blonde in real life. So now it looks more like a brunette on camera. And then this one, oh, I'm gonna put this down. So yeah, same thing for the bracelets. These are on Amazon, and the headband I got from Etsy. Somebody made it on Etsy. But I need to show you the cape. So the thing about this cape is not finished yet, because like the diamonds, I didn't have enough diamonds, so the back is missing like at least like 40 rows of diamonds, and I need to put more violet lilac feathers. I got this from Etsy, a wonderful dressmaker in Spain made it for me, but we had a little bit of miscommunication, so I had to put the diamonds myself, and then she put the kind of the pink feathers, and I'm filling it in with the lilac ones, and obviously I need to put way more feathers, like this is not nearly enough. But yeah, I love this, and I'm like, I'm definitely gonna wear this in the future to some events and whatever. So it's quite warm actually. But yeah, the chandelier, the Prada chandelier inspired cape that Daisy wears obviously to Gatsby's party. So yeah, that Gatsby actually is one of my, like, in my top 10 all-time favorite movies, like no doubt. I really do love and adore that movie because it's just such a gorgeous looking movie. Love and adore that movie. So yeah, so gonna do this makeup, and we are gonna talk a little bit about the Great Gatsby, Baz Luhrmann, and also Daisy Buchanan, her character. Oh yeah, and I completely forgot to mention that, yeah, that's a painting I made now. It's just inspired by the Great Gatsby. Yeah, I was inspired because yeah, we were supposed to go to the party, and then I think I started making this, and then they cancelled it, they moved it to next year. So yeah, obviously that's Daisy there, dreaming about Gatsby and his castle, and still, you know, being kind of like, being almost kind of held captive by her wealth, like the pearls, because Tom Buchanan, when he met Daisy, he gave that expensive string of like the pearl necklace or something. So that's kind of like what those pearls represent, that she's a captive of her status, but also she has a very dreamy personality, how she's dreaming about Gatsby and his castle and whatever. So Daisy's a very dreamy person. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to convey here. And yeah, you can see obviously the Baz Luhrmann inspo there. Without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so before we begin, it's a champagne cocktail actually. Okay, so that's Miley Grand Cru. Never had that one before, and I realized we should have gotten Moët & Chandon. However, Vincent and I, we are now getting into more like the indie champagnes, let's say, stepping away from the big brands and trying out smaller vineyards and smaller champagne houses. So yeah, that's Miley Grand Cru. And This is a cocktail we had at the Ritz in Vienna last year. So it's very simple. So you have champagne and then a scoop of raspberry sorbet, which is why this is almost like rosé champagne. But so here we go. That's very like very well, it's a tad sour, and it's probably because of this champagne, so if it's very dry. But they also give you a spoon there at the Ritz, so you can kind of spoon out the sorbet, but it's just very nice. I don't have a spoon, I can't scoop it out. Anyway, cheers. It is lovely though. Anyway, so I prime my eyes with the Too Faced lip injection and the Too Faced shadow insurance. That's the eye primer. And so we are gonna start with the M.A.C and Harris Reed. He's their makeup collaboration, yes. And I'm gonna take this beautiful old-fashioned gold. And yeah, did you guys see what Harris Reed, what they created for Iman for the Met Gala? That gorgeous, like almost straw golden look. But yes, so this look is my version of Daisy Buchanan, yeah, for 2021. And yeah, as I mentioned, we were supposed to go to the party and it didn't happen, postponed, but I still figured why, you know, because I was looking forward to that, yeah, even though it might have been a tad inappropriate, I guess, to throw a big party in New York City when, you know, the numbers are kind of like ugh, and the Delta variant is going on. So I was kind of expecting them. I mean, I would have been surprised if the party would have happened. So yeah, I was expecting them to cancel the thing. So Vincent and I, we figured that we might as well celebrate today. So we're gonna have our own Gatsby party, which is why I decided that I'm gonna still do the makeup. But I was planning to do a flapper makeup, like a proper flapper makeup for the party, like the dark eyes and everything. It would have been a big contrast with the dress and everything, but at least it would have been historically accurate. So now this one is my Daisy Buchanan for 2021. So it still has those flapper elements, but it's slightly more for this decade, I reckon. Something that you can wear, almost like a kind of natural look, but more wearable. Okay, let's say it's more wearable than the actual flapper one, because the flapper makeup is very dark, very black, and very smoky. So not everybody will feel comfortable wearing that. Yeah, wearing that, like you need to have a certain kind of attitude, I reckon, to wear that makeup. I mean, which was time appropriate for the flappers, you know, the emancipation of women. So it made sense for the times. And now if you wear black smoky eye makeup, it's a statement makeup. So I want this one to be still a statement, but a tad more natural, if that makes sense. And like, in case you're wondering, like, I don't put the gold all the way down because I want to smoke it out. So again, the Harris Reed palette, so I'm gonna take the taupe color. So let's talk a little bit about the Great Gatsby, and I mean the 2013 movie. I have seen the Mia Farrow one, 1974. So that's all right. Like, I didn't hate it, but obviously because I saw the Baz Luhrmann one first, and it's such a it's a spectacle. So comparing that to the 74 one, I was like, in my mind, it's like the 74 didn't have a chance, even if Mia Farrow was in it, and I love Mia Farrow. So yeah, so Baz Luhrmann, so I get that the people who have read the Gatsby book, they say that the Baz Luhrmann one doesn't do the book justice, and the book was better and all that stuff. I get it. I read the Gatsby book, and I thought it was fine, but still, like, I saw the movie first and then I read the book, and I liked the book, but still in my mind I preferred the movie much more than the book. It's just because I am very sensitive to aesthetics, to colors, to looks and stuff like that. So that's why I guess the movie really spoke to me. And my best friend recently, I think I sent her a clip or something of the Gatsby, and I was like, if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. And then she did, and she was like, the story was a little bit boring and what else, nothing special, but she did agree that it was a fantastic looking movie. So I forgive the story, let's say. I love the story. So that movie, the Great Gatsby 2013, that's in my like top 10 favorite movies. I love and adore that movie so much. So I don't like, the story for me is fine. Yeah, it's a love story. It's a short romance, summer romance, if you will. And yeah, it's just, well, what people say about Baz Luhrmann is that his movies, like, they're all show and no substance. And if you think about Romeo and Juliet, Moulin Rouge, you either love or hate Moulin Rouge apparently. And then obviously Great Gatsby, and now he's coming out with the Elvis movie next year, and I wanna see that. Not a big Elvis fan, but I just really love his style, so I wanna see that. So the good, like, what I really love and adore about Baz Luhrmann is that at least he has style. He has his own distinct style and look, and I really appreciate that. Not to mention, like, his movies, they're very pop, they're very like pop art sort of, and the soundtracks are amazing. Okay, so now I'm really complicating things. So basically this is the Charlotte Tilbury, the Uptown Girl palette. So I'm gonna take, if you can see, this very dark brown, and I'm gonna mix it, what was that, smoking, from the Too Faced Love palette. So I'm gonna mix those two, because at the end of the day, the flappers, they still have that very dark crease, and I couldn't really find a very nice dark brown. So yeah, I'm mixing smoking and then that Charlotte Tilbury color next. Yeah. And so now let's talk about yeah, why are we here today? We are here because this is a Daisy Buchanan makeup look. So let's talk about, yeah, Daisy Buchanan, or Daisy Faye, as she as was her maiden name. Daisy, she is one of those, like, those characters that you also either love or hate. I have nothing against Daisy. I actually kind of like her, even though it's kind of like that, like, she has like really no personality. Her only trait is that, you know, she's defined by a man, stuff like that. She's vapid and bored, and just a very rich woman who is bored out of her mind. And I'm like, well, fine, but what other people have said, that she's also very romantic and she's a dreamer, which I completely agree with. So how I feel about Daisy is that, yes, indeed, she's very bored, and yeah, very wealthy, very bored. She loves the luxury, she loves her like lifestyle, she likes that she's part of the 1%, and the fact that she's married to a very old family, like old money. She lives in a old money address, so she does enjoy that. And when Daisy, like, she meets Gatsby when they are young, and obviously Gatsby has nothing to give her except his love, and because Daisy is a romantic person, so she falls for that. And I think she wanted to stay with Gatsby, but obviously then Gatsby went away, and then Tom Buchanan came along, and they say that, yeah, he gave her that necklace, which is probably worth millions in today's money, and then like just swept her off her feet. And I think that in my opinion, that is what Daisy wants, that is what Daisy needs. She needs a man to kind of like, just to kind of guide her and take those, there's no nice way to say this, but like make the decisions for her. So she's very indecisive, as we see later. So that's kind of how I see Daisy. Like, she's kind of like, yeah, she doesn't want to take responsibility, basically. And eventually, yeah, when she hits Myrtle and kills Myrtle. So that's the kind of person, like, she comes across to me. Yeah, a person who is perfectly happy with the men coming along and taking charge, so she doesn't have to make any decisions, because yeah, obviously making decisions is hard, and taking responsibility is hard, and yeah, so she doesn't want to do any of that. So I would say that's the reason, like many people, they really don't like Daisy, and I get that. And then when we think about her, so I'm gonna bring it down, yeah, to close this, like make it kind of round, this rounded shape. So how Daisy is described by men is that, yeah, Daisy Fae, so her name evokes fairies, like she's this fantasy creature, almost out of reach. She's the king's daughter, so she's defined by a man, so she's not the princess, she's the king's daughter. And then obviously the golden girl, so she's almost like she's a prize, yeah. So she's a prize to be won, because at the end of the day, money, gold is still a big currency, even in our day and age. Gold is currency. So, and then obviously I think the most infamous line about Daisy, her voice is full of money. You know what, excuse me, but in my opinion, the only person whose voice is full of money is Gilda.
Glad to have met you, Mr. Farrell.
His name's Johnny, Gilda.
Oh, I'm sorry. Johnny is such a hard name to remember, and so easy to forget. Johnny. There.
So yeah, if I have some fallout here, so I'm brushing it away. But also like her voice is like a murmur, so people would really have to lean in, come close to her to hear her. And some critics, they have said that her voice is almost like that of a Lorelei, so she's enchanting men with her voice.
But I prefer a man who lives and gives expensive jewels.
No, Marilyn, not your Lorelei. But anyway, so Daisy's voice is allegedly one of her best qualities. So yeah, I don't think this look is not expensive enough, so I'm taking the Jeffree Star, the Blood Money palette, and I'm gonna use tax-free and then put it under the eyes. And then I reckon the final thing I want to say about Daisy is that she is a dreamer. So she and Gatsby, both of their, like, I don't want to say it's a flaw, character flaw, but it's just, it gets them into trouble. So this thing about them, and that is that, yeah, they're both dreamers. They like to dream big. In terms of like Gatsby, he had a big dream. He saw Daisy, he saw the house she was living in, and was like, that's what I want. And that's how many people have seen it, is that Gatsby didn't really love Daisy. He liked the status and the like how people would look at him if he got her, because at the end of the day, even as a nouveau riche, Gatsby still wasn't respected by most people, and especially not by the 1%. Apparently he saw Daisy driving in her white car, and she was living in a big house, and he realized, like what many men still practice in this day and age, is that they want a high value wife, somebody who will look good on their arm, but also who is like, can kind of make them, so how they can enter high society or something like that, into like the circles they want to be in, is only through a high value woman, whatever that means to you, I don't know, but yeah. So I think it was the same for Gatsby. So Gatsby would have been like, if I can marry her, I become rich and I marry her, I'll be accepted into high society, and finally I'll be respected. And I think that was kind of the same thing for Tom, because yeah, Daisy was the golden girl, she was the king's daughter, so on, so she is a high value woman. So I think it was the same for Tom as well. So he kind of saw her as, again, 1920s, as a property, something beautiful to have, and once he got her, he moved on to the next woman. But yeah, so what does Daisy want? So I think she really did appreciate the love she shared with Gatsby, and I like to think they were in love. But yeah, she's very much a dreamer. So when Tom came along, he was able to give her the dream that she can finally be part of old money and be rich and wealthy. She will be taken care of for the rest of her life, and she can continue living a very, very fancy lifestyle. And then when Gatsby came along and reminded her of their love, of their young love, and what she says her white girlhood, because Daisy wears white throughout the book. So Gatsby reminded her of her white childhood, and then now that he's back and her husband is basically ignoring her, having an affair, she knows about it, and then Gatsby comes along and gives her this beautiful dream, this beautiful fantasy where they're both in love and rich and everything is just gorgeous. It goes well until Gatsby tells her that she has to tell her husband that she never loved him, because Gatsby wants to turn back time and go back to, you know, just erase the past, I think 8 years. And Daisy doesn't want to do that, because I think she's very much dependent upon her husband, and eventually, like, well, he's very, very rich. Even though apparently Gatsby is now richer than him, but he has the status. So I think it was going on quite well if they both had agreed that this is just a beautiful fantasy. And once the summer is over, then they both move on their own ways. But obviously Gatsby was very hard on, like, Gatsby was very driven that he is gonna have Daisy, and he really wants to have Daisy. So the dream was broken. Okay, does it look rich yet? Then I'm gonna line my eyes. So this is the Too Faced, the Killer liner. This is Killer Chocolate. Gonna line the eyes. But yeah, so I think that's kind of like summarizes like my Daisy, like how I feel, well, how I see Daisy. She's very much a dreamer, but she doesn't want to give up on her privileges and her status in society. But also, let's not forget that there were these rumors and things about Gatsby, like how he got his money. So I personally don't see like how, even if he didn't get killed, his line of work was very shady and not sustainable. So I think that's also what made Daisy kind of like, why she hesitated, is that, yeah, old money versus unstable new money. Okay, so I just couldn't get this to work on camera. Like, my gosh, this is usually very soft and buttery, but today, no idea why it's so hard. So yeah, did the eyeliner off camera. So yeah, line the top and also line the bottom one as well, very close to the lash line. And then the last liner I'm gonna do is, this is the Wet and Wild white one, and then I'm gonna put this in the waterline. And to finish the eyes, I'm gonna do my usual lash routine and get back to you, okay? That is the eyes. And then last but not least is the Charlotte Tilbury, the Live It Up lipstick. And that is that. So the finished product. I do hope you like it. I'm like, I actually really, where's the sun? There. So I'm actually very happy how it turned out. Yeah, you still have that flapper drama which comes from the dark eyeshadow and the eyeliner, but other than that, it's semi-natural, glamorous and wearable, even like on daily basis. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and do watch The Great Gatsby. Do watch it again if you haven't seen it for a while, and just try to go in and see it as the spectacle that it is. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, I do appreciate that. And I will see you in my next video. So have a great day. Bye. Ciao.